I'll give it a couple minutes here, see if anybody else pops in before I get started. Hi, Seven. Yeah, that's a 5 ounce copper round. Uh, I'm doing great, Seven. How about you? That's a 5 ounce Golden Statement uh, copper round. Yeah, I picked it up because I was like, yeah, no, that's a penny. They were running a really good deal on them. Yeah, it's more the novelty than anything else with those. They were running a deal where all their they were running their 5 ounce copper rounds for $9.99 a piece. And I'm like, well, hey, I can't turn that down. I thought it was cool, so I grabbed a couple, stashed them away. Uh, like I've said before, I don't stack copper, but I have quite a bit of it. I'm actually thinking about repurposing some of it. Uh, you know, because I mean it's really heavy. I mean I've got quite a bit. I've got it in an ammo can, and it almost throws my back out when I pick it up because it's heavy. Uh, yeah, I've got a couple other ones that size. Also, I've got a Aztec, and yeah, it does. Uh, Aztec version, and got, I think I've got uh, one or two of the Trump ones. Uh, but yeah, I've got a lot of 1 ounce rounds. I mean, like a ton of 1 ounce rounds. Because my mentality at the time I was buying them was, you know, copper. They want us running electric everything, and you got to have copper for the, for electrical stuff. But times they are changing, and they're finding other metals to use in its place. So, you know, some of them are cool to look at. I mean, there's some I'm gonna keep. I mean, I've got some that were gifted to me uh, by friends, members of the community. Like I was gifted this one. That's one of the Trump copper bars. You know, uh, and this side of it, just to me, that screams America. So yeah, I'm gonna hang on to that one also. Uh, but yeah, I'm thinking about repurposing a lot of the 1 ounce rounds I have. That's something I will discuss with somebody later, and we'll see if that'll happen or not. So pretty much tonight I figured we'd maybe talk about what got us started stacking. And I'll tell you, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a realist. And in the area that I live, we're about 3 or 4 miles away from a nuclear power plant, about a mile away from a refrigerated warehouse for the Meyer stores, which, you know, if Meyer is kind of regional to, I say, Michigan, Ohio, uh, I think Indiana. Uh, they're not in any way, shape, or form tied in with like Fred Meyer out on the West Coast or any of those places. Uh, but they have a refrigerator warehouse about a mile down the road that they use some pretty harsh chemicals to cool their warehouse. And so, I'm one of those crazy ones. Oh, not to mention the fact that we live in Tornado Alley, even though there's some people that will claim that, oh, you don't get tornadoes there, you just get straight line winds. You might want to take that up with the National Weather Service. Because last September we had one that touched down and literally went through, oh gosh, an eighth of a mile from hitting exactly where I live. The only thing in between us was an expressway, and did quite a bit of damage, and could have been a lot worse than it was though. But I was learning how to put together you can use different terms for it, a go bag, bug out bag, such and such. And there's a gentleman here on YouTube that was showing you how to build a 72-hour, I call them go bags because the term bug out bag freaks everybody out. How to put together a go bag. And one of the things he pulled out as he's showing you everything he's got in his was a bag that was, it was kind of similar to this. It's like, oh, you want to have some, some cash with you just in case, because you're not going to be able to use your credit cards, if the power's out and the computers are down, because, everybody's cash registers are computers now. So, you're going to want to have some change. You're going to want to have some, paper currency. And then he pulled out another bag. I've got these all together in one. And he said, fractional silver. Now, this is just some of my little fractional pieces I've thrown in the bag, just as a prop. Hey, Liberty, welcome. Good to see you. But he had the 2.5 gram IGR bars, the on the assay card. He says, oh, you're going to want some of these in case you got a barter. And that got me thinking. I'm like, wow, I never thought about that. And, some of the first pieces I bought a couple of those 2.5 gram bars. And, of course, I mentioned before that, I had to sell a lot of my silver at one point. So those are long gone. But that's what actually got me going, because I'm like, oh, wait, okay, wait a minute. You mean to tell me there's a 1 ounce and a 1.5 ounce and a 2 ounce of this one and that one and whatever. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And with things being the way they are in our country now, I've kind of tried to step up the game a little bit, because they keep printing money, or they keep printing paper currency. And every time they print paper currency, this guy right here loses more and more value, to the point where one of these days that paper's not going to be, it's not going to be worth the paper it's printed on, let alone the face value of it. And, a lot of people, I'm more and more people, I should say, are talking down about constitutional silver. And, somebody made a good point. Last night I was watching My Silver Journeys live that he did with Gold and Silver Stack Attack. And a good point that Gold and Silver Stack Attack made was, I still do too, especially, and I get really excited if they're pre-82. That's the copper I stack. That's, there you go. There's my copper stack right there. I've got 2 rolled copper pennies, and then all the loose ones I'm waiting to get enough to make another roll out of. That's my copper stack right there. All the other stuff is, collectible in my eyes. That's, I know that bugs some people too, but he made the comment, and they were talking about the price. Hey, Scott Silver, welcome. He made the point that, you go out and a lot of this silver, get that copper machine. I'm trying. Something about that. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan, for those of you that are familiar with Michigan, or even those of you that aren't, is known as copper country. And, let me see here. I'll slide these back a little bit. I'll pull them out of Lake Superior and put them up in Canada for a minute. If you can see it, this right here, this is the Upper Peninsula. And especially this area in here, copper mines everywhere. Actually, I want to say, like from, let me see, where am I at here? I don't want to put you too far east. Marquette west, and especially the north half of the peninsula, copper mines everywhere. Well, all those copper mines closed, and all of a sudden here recently, word is that they're going to start mining for copper up there again, which, that's a good thing for copper because we are going to need it. It is an industrial metal, but that's also going to put a lot of people back to work because you figure the biggest industries up there at one time was paper, Mead, West Vaco, if I pronounced it right. They make the like your loose leaf paper and paper products that you would use in school, your notebooks and stuff. They've got forests up here. They still have the forests, but they closed all the plants. Kimberly-Clark had a plant in Munising, which that's like my favorite getaway to place. In Munising, they used to make Kleenex and TP, and they shut it down. There was a paper plant due south in Manistee, shut it down. All these copper mines shut down. So basically, your biggest paychecks come from, and this is going to be sad, on one part, the Department of Corrections, because they have several high security prisons up there, and the universities. You've got Lake Superior State over here in Sault Ste. Marie. You got Northern Michigan and Marquette, and you got Michigan Tech, great hockey school, great engineering school, up here in the Keweenaw Peninsula. But so the copper, is it ever going to be considered a precious metal? Probably not. But, it is what it is. But getting back to what I was talking about, Gold and Silver Stack Attack made a good point when they were talking about the all the premiums and stuff that you pay on these expensive 1 ounce rounds and all that. And he made a very good point that if you walk in to sell your silver and the dollar has gone down to zero, okay, 0, well, even not selling your silver, but this goes to zero. This guy right here, this one right here, well, here, we're going to keep that one out of the way here for a minute. This one right here, this, okay, yeah, it's nothing more than an ounce of silver. Even though you may have paid, I don't know, whatever over spot from depending on what dealer you went to, it's still just an ounce of silver. And then you go like this, because they say 140, and I've got 3 of the better ones of these Walking Liberties up here. Okay, 140, $1.40 is an ounce of silver. Okay, well, there's an ounce of silver. There's an ounce of silver. Oh, I get those up there. Ounce of silver, ounce of silver. Okay. The premiums don't mean anything. How much you paid for it doesn't mean anything, because in the long run, it's just an ounce of silver. But I continue to stack just because of the way all the turns that the world's taken. They keep printing money like it means something, and we can't pay our own bills, but we're paying everybody else's. That's just my thing. It's, you have to have something, because the economy tanks, and I mean it's on its way. The economy tanks, and that paycheck you're getting is not going to mean anything, even if you even have a job to go to. You've got to have something you can fall back on. If that never happens, they pull their scare tactics every once in a while too. Oh, silver shortage. No, we don't have a silver shortage. We have government officials who who do everything in their anything they can to block mining. And then they start throwing out silver shortage. Well, they did the same thing back when I was a kid, back in the 70s. Oh, we've only got so many days worth of oil, so we got to quadruple the price of gas. Well, look what our current administration did here. First thing they did when they took office is they shut down all drilling and us making our own oil here, so that we got to spend more money to buy it from somebody else. Or something that went on for quite a while is we would drill and pull the oil up out of the ground here, send it over to Canada to British Petroleum. Exactly. Yes, Liberty Blade Silver hit it right on the head, buddy. Yeah, we've got a common sense shortage in this country right now. And we were sending oil over to Canada to a company that, you probably see their signs all the time, depending on where you live, to a company called British Petroleum. We were letting them refine it and then sell it back to us. So we were paying to drill and harvest our own oil, and then we were paying for it a second time when we bought it back from British Petroleum. That's the kind of shenanigans that go on. But if all that never happens, everything levels out, everything gets great, I've got something to leave my son. He started stacking about a year ago. I mean, he doesn't have a huge stack. Like I said, he's doing it on a budget, because he's trying to do things without, becoming one of the people they always talk about with student loans. He's trying to do the college thing on his own. Yes, he does want to go into a profession that requires a degree. And you know what? I support him 100,000%. I know the big push now is you don't need to go to college. You can do this, that, and the other thing. Okay, but there are certain jobs that require it. You're not going to hire a lawyer that only went to high school. You're not going to hire a doctor, or you're not going to choose a physician to help with your health that only went to high school or didn't even go to high school. Some jobs do require a college education, and his chosen profession that he wants to go into is one of them. So he's not stacking large. He's a little bit at a time. Every once in a while, we'll go to a coin shop and I'll slip him some cash and say, "Hey, get what you want." I'll help him build his stack. He understands what it's about. It's not just something cool to throw in a box and look at every once in a while. He understands what it's about. And something that really made me laugh was, and of course it's an election year here. For anybody that's not here in the United States, it's an election year, and when you're watching television, you can't go one round of commercials without the there being a political ad here, somebody throwing barbs at their opponent here, there, whatever. And the thing that really, it dug in hard. And it was one of our presidential candidates that they actually do the soundbite of her saying, the current American economy works for the working class person. And that just sent me into orbit. This is coming from somebody who hasn't had to pay for her own groceries, her own clothes, or any of her own necessities for the last almost 4 years. We've been paying for it. The taxpayers, we're paying for it. And my thing is, has she really looked at the economy? When was the last time she went to a grocery store and had to buy groceries? I remember not that long ago, actually, it was right before the fiasco of 2020 started, where I could walk into Aldi, which again, I know there's some people in some areas, they don't even know what Aldi is. What's Aldi? Uh, Grocery store chain, you know, lower prices on average for stuff. They have their own brands that they sell, and they find ways to keep it cheap. Like you have to take a quarter with you. You put the quarter in the little thing on the cart. It releases the cart. You go do your shopping. They don't have to pay somebody to be running out and grabbing carts every 5 seconds. You bring your own bags because bags aren't cheap. They sell them, but I don't think you want to be buying grocery bags every single time you go to the grocery store. So you bring your own bags, cuts the cost. I used to be able to go in there and shop for 2 weeks for 2 and sometimes 3 people for, I don't know, if I splurged, it was $115, maybe $120 for 2 weeks. Now I go in there now and I put those same items in the cart, and it's like $260. But the economy's fine. That's why I keep stacking this stuff, putting it away, because eventually that economy is going to nosedive right into the ground, and you're going to have something to use to survive. So, but that's my rant for this week. I am going to be, those of you that are faithful viewers of my videos, there's going to be some changes coming down the road, and this is just like some admin stuff that you may or may not notice, but I'm going to put it out there. I won't go into a lot of detail, but I will put it out there nonetheless. Monday I will have a video down your alley. Hope you're well, my friend. Culture Currency, I'm doing great, buddy. Thanks. Yeah, a few changes. Just let's see, how can I put this? I asked advice from one of my fellow YouTubers for my son, and because even though he's kind of shy at times, am I only Culture Currency? This one, I'm a righty, but this actually works better than this one, because I had I know some of you have heard this before, or I don't know if Culture heard it or not. In July of 2021, I don't know what the heck happened, but I had a spinal injury. And I had a spinal injury. Didn't realize, I just thought that all the pain I was feeling. Mr. Silver Eagle, welcome. Good evening. I had a spinal injury. I thought the pain I was feeling at the time was, like I always joke around and say all the stupid stuff you did when you were a kid coming back to remind you, hey, remember me? And that's what I thought it was. Went to work one day, went to do something where I had to raise my right arm up in the air and my arm wouldn't move. They thought, and I work for a health system. I work in a hospital where 90% of my job, I'm in an emergency department. They thought I was having a stroke, and it ended up being 3 compressed discs in my neck that rendered my right arm useless for the better part of, I want to say it was well over a year after the injury. That happened in July. I had major surgery in November, and it took me about a year before I could move my arm again. And now I'm, obviously, but there's still certain things where, like if I pick things up, I'll pick this up with just these 2 fingers, or I'll pick it up with these 2 fingers, because if I try to get the rest of the fingers involved, my hand starts shaking and stuff goes flying. So, and the way my the way my system's set up here, it's easier for me to grab things with the left because if I go with the right, I risk knocking things around. So, but no changes to the channel. When I do unboxings or I share with you, oh, culture currency, I'm good, buddy. I really am. I'm back to work. And my job is a lot of hands-on, a lot of heavy lifting, pushing, you name it. And I'm good. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. I was off on medical for a year and 9 months. I pretty much, uh, I pretty much told the doctors when they kept telling me what I wasn't going to be able to do. I said, well, you know what? Keep telling me what I can't do so I can prove you wrong, and I did. When I went back to the neurosurgeon to get my go to work letter, he looked at me like I was crazy until he realized I was talking with my hands, and this and this and this, and up in front of my face, he just kind of looked at me and said, "You're not supposed to be able to do that." And I said, "Well, what did I tell you a year ago?" So, but no, I'm good. Uh, so when it comes to showing you things that I got, I will not be telling you where they're from. I mean, unless it's painfully obvious. If somebody sends me a poker chip and stickers, I'm like, hey, got a mail call from, enter name here. But as far as coin shops, I'm not saying names anymore. I think I kind of damaged the trust of one of our fellow YouTubers when I asked for some advice for my son, and then because I moved away from the area where he lives 7 or 8 years ago, and of course, March 2020 permanently closed a lot of places. There's some not so reputable coin shops out there, whatever. And I asked the question and was given an answer, and then mentioned a coin shop in a video. And I don't want anybody, thinking that if I ask you a question, I'm, looking to advance my channel or what I do here. So from now on, I won't be doing that. It's out of respect. And we, if I buy something on Whatnot, I may, because there are some places that we all know about that sell on Whatnot. If I get something from one of our fellow YouTubers that is, also doing on Whatnot, like, if I get something from T, I'll tell you I got it from T. If I happen to get something from Beach City Coins, I'll mention them. But as far as like LCSs, no more. Like I said, I don't want to, damage the relationship that I have with my fellow YouTubers. So I'm not trying to be a jerk, because that's not how I roll. Never rolled that way, never will. And just some other little things. I mean, I'm going to be taking some time off here next week. My son's coming down. We're going to hang out. Actually, I got to go up to his place first. For those of you that aren't familiar with Michigan, Southeast Michigan, that area, we have like literally one of the biggest and coolest classic car cruises in the world. It goes through multiple cities. It starts in Ferndale, Michigan, just north of Detroit, and goes up to Pontiac and past up Woodward Avenue. It's called the Woodward Dream Cruise. I know culture currency. I asked the question wrong. I'm not going to get into details, but I asked the question wrong. I should have asked it a different way. So, and there was no ill intent there. And I hope the person that I asked the question to knows that there was no ill intent there. And I just, I'm, I don't want anybody, thinking that I'm out just for me, or just me and mine. I try to look out for everybody. I know there's people that hate the word community. Well, community that just means that people help each other, and we do. And I did not intend to make it look like I was taking advantage of that. And like I said, I could have worded the question different, or I could have asked a different question instead of the question I asked. And you know, so that's part of changing. Um, so, but yeah, we're still stacking silver. I'll still be going to my local coin shops. I'll still be hitting up a coin show here or there. I'm going to give the one there in Wyandotte another chance because, like I said in the video that I posted about what I picked up, uh, it's August. Yeah, they do one show a month down there. It's a small hall too. I mean, if you had a medium sized wedding, you wouldn't have enough room for the reception at their place. But yeah, it's a small little, you know, uh, hall affiliated with the Catholic Church down the street. And yeah, I'll give them another shot in September, see what's going on, because maybe a lot of the people that are normally there selling were on vacation with their kids. It's a couple more weeks. Uh, Tobacco Row, thanks for stopping in, my friend. We'll see you next time. Um, but yeah, I'll give them another shot. There's some other coin shows coming up. I don't know what I did with the card, but for those in the Metro Detroit area, there's still some more coming up down in Wyandotte. There's some in Royal Oak. Uh, but I don't have the dates in front of me, but they're usually on Sundays. Uh, and Hey, Mishy. Hey, Tobacco Row. Hi, Mishy. Hey, hi. I thought you were leaving. um, but yeah, I'm gonna limit what I say or how much information I give out. I mean, we'll talk about the coins or rounds or bars that I'm showing in front of you, but we're gonna leave it at that. And again, like I said, if I get a letter from somebody, that I can show on a video, or oh, excuse me, or you know, like we like trading chips and stickers and stuff. Yeah, I'll obviously I'll say who that's from, but all the other stuff, it's I understand. I'm a little more open with things than I should be probably, but that's something I've got to change in me. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys continue to you know have a little bit of fun with with my videos and that. I try to keep it lighthearted. I mean, every once in a while I'll get serious about things. Like I'm very passionate about not shaming people for what they stack. Um, it's not a lot of people have a ton of money to just go drop it in LCS somewhere, and and if you do, more power to you. I mean, I think. Well, out of respect for my fellow YouTubers, is the reason why I'm doing a little bit of change up, because, uh, you know, I, kind of shot somebody's nerves, the person that I asked the question of, because, I asked about that, got an answer, and then, you know, so like I said, I'm not revealing places anymore. Unless, I'm like, if it's like one of the big name places like SD, or, I mean, I don't like giving, I'm going to stop giving free airtime to them. I mean, they're not sponsoring me. I don't want them to sponsor me, but SD, Hero, JM, Money Metals, Bullion Brothers, all of them. I'm not even going to mention them. I know I have mentioned some LCSs in the past, and it's just, I may mention on occasion my three spots that I go to all the time. But as far as, anything beyond that, I'm not doing it. But, so, but, yeah. So let's see, there's just something about these. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm from Michigan. I love these things. This one, I showed you guys this before. It's, the Michigan Sesquicentennial, with the Mackinac Bridge on the back. That's like one of my favorite spots right there. I always stop, sit in the park on the Mackinac City side, and just take it all in. It's like, you feel your blood pressure drop whenever you get there. I know a lot of people freak out about driving across it. I mean, it's not that bad. Stay on the pavement. And I know during the summer they do construction where you got to drive on the mesh. And like I used to tell people, okay, we're driving on the mesh. Easiest way to solve that, don't look down. But yeah, there's just something about this stuff. I mean, it's just, I love looking at it. I hate putting it away because I want to pull it back out and just stare at it. So, but alrighty, let's see here. Also, I want to thank everybody that subscribed to the channel, because last time I checked, how do you feel about when Pontiac went under? Big Detroit brand and native culture. I wish they came back. You talk about the city or the car brand? Because stacking logs and getting, because the city of Pontiac, they're trying. I mean, they had the car brand. Nothing beat a good Pontiac back in the day. That was, I kind of got left with a bitter taste in my mouth with General Motors altogether. And this goes back to when I was a kid. We had one of the major, I know it's not Pontiac, but if exactly, yeah, and I'll tell you something, if you guys ever get to Michigan, Metro Detroit area this time of year, check on the web and find out, or you have to come here for something and you can time it right. Check the web for the Woodward Dream Cruise. Find out what weekend it is. You like classic cars, muscle cars, all that stuff. Oh my gosh. Find a spot along Woodward Avenue, pop up a porch chair and just sit down and enjoy your day, because it's literally, this is south, this is north, from 8 Mile, which is the county and city limits, Detroit to the south and everything else to the north. From the Detroit city limits all the way up to Pontiac, just wall-to-wall classic cars going back and forth up and down Woodward in both directions. I haven't met a classic car I didn't like, especially over that way this time of year. But growing up, we had, this is kind of, and I mean, thinking about how they do things nowadays sounds kind of weird, but we had, in the south end of the neighborhood, we had what was known as Fisher Body, or they call it Fleetwood, that built the bodies for the Cadillac Fleetwood. I mean, we're talking back. Yeah, I remember, I'm a '70s baby, so Cadillac was still building battleship-sized cars. I mean, you could almost you could almost classify them as an aircraft carrier, as big as they were. You could land an airplane on them; they were that big. But down in the south end of the neighborhood, they had that plant that built the bodies, and then they would truck those bodies 8 at a time from Fleetwood down on 4th Street up to the Clark Street assembly plant up on Michigan Avenue, where they actually built the cars. And that was huge. Well, GM all of a sudden decided, well, we're going to cut back. In the first place, we're going to cut back is the Motor City. And they closed Fleetwood, and then eventually, a short time later, they closed the Clark Street plant, and our neighborhood went to crap, for lack of a better term. The wake would break. Cranky, hi. But yeah, no, oh my God, anything with the Pontiac badge on it back in the day, that was, just, I can't even put it in words. But yeah, the GTOs were phenomenal cars. You see a lot of them out there on Woodward when they get out there and start cruising. But yeah, now the city of Pontiac, it went down the tubes too, and they're trying. They're trying hard to bring it back, but Pontiac's got hospitals. They got one of the largest and tagged one of the most scariest haunted houses in the country there in Pontiac, and they contract with the sheriff's department for fire, and they contract with Waterford Township for their fire. So they got the sheriff's and another city's fire department running the show for them. But I'm gonna change things up a little bit, minor little things with the channel, and I just don't want you guys to think that I got I just don't think didn't want you guys to think that I was turning into a jerk on you. Just trying to be respectful of my fellow YouTubers, and that. So, but let's see. That is a cool one. So, oh, you guys are having fun tonight. So, let's see. Here, I'll get this out of the way. So, don't know. Is this about my brother? Don't know. Cranky, don't know what, buddy. So here I'm trying to play catch up with the comments here, because I only get like a couple at a time, and then I'll get like 5 or 6 at a time, and then a couple here, a couple there. So still trying to playing catch up a little bit here with the comments. So if you don't have room for someone in an old DeVille, you could throw a party in a DeVille. So, well, it's not about that. It's just, I mean, I know that the person I asked the question to is very protective of their stuff. And, like I said, Scott, sorry, cranky guy walks into a bar. Okay, so I made up for that. Oh, got it. Okay. But I like I said, I should have just asked the question different. It's on me, and I've since apologized and realized that I could have asked it a different way. So with that, just like I said, out of respect for my fellow YouTubers, like I would never say that. Oh, hey, look what I got, and I enter YouTuber name here told me to go to XYZ coin shop and get it, and hey, everybody run over there, and that ends up being that YouTuber's, one of that YouTuber's, sweet spots as far as, LCSs go. So now I've just sent X amount of people to that coin shop. So now when that person goes in, buy their stuff. Anyway, it's just, it's little things that I'm making just out of respect for my fellow YouTubers. Like if I say, don't make Cranky any even crankier, or me for that matter. You know, so, but yeah, so I'm just, I try to be respectful of my fellow YouTubers, and I kind of goofed up on that one. That's completely on me. And like I said, I've apologized. So, uh, you know, hopefully that's done and over with, and I'm doing my part to resolve the problem. I don't even know if you want to call it a problem, but to me it was a problem because I upset somebody, and that's not my way of doing things. So, or I may have upset the person. I don't know if I actually did, but trying to stay out, get out in front of it. So, but yeah, that's going on, and like I said, we've got. There's gonna be some days where there's. Hello, welcome. Um, there are going to be a few days where there won't be videos, and that's going to be toward the end of this coming week. I may try to get some. I'm probably going to get something out Friday morning, if not maybe early afternoon. But as far as that, join the club, Mishy. All right, just ate some walleye and now need to tend to the kiddos. So I little mini vacation there, because Saturday and Sunday, even if I tried to make a video, you wouldn't hear me, because we're going to be out at Michigan International Speedway for the weekend. My son and I getting our yearly fix in of, if it goes fast and makes a lot of noise, we love it. And yeah, NASCAR weekend at MIS. So there probably won't be much in the way of videos this weekend. I might pop a couple of, if any of you are NASCAR fans and you watch the coverage on Fox, I might do a couple of crank it up videos, and put them out, like one for Saturday, one for Sunday. Totally gonna back the truck up for the $25 silver. You know what? I wish that I hope it's that cheap. I mean, I got a little bit, but as it would be, I'm doing things on a budget right now. Smaller budget than normal. But like I said in my Silver Journeys live last night in the comments, I was like, man, we need to get a dip like that on payday. It usually pops up the Friday in between paydays, not on payday, because that would be phenomenal to get $25 silver on a payday. So, but I did get a couple pieces. I went up and saw my one LCS, and Scott Silver. It's no big deal. It's not that I went through anything. It's just I have respect for all my fellow YouTubers, a ton of respect, and I don't want to damage the relationship with my fellow YouTubers, because all you guys are great. The people that subscribe to our channels are great, and I've always prided myself on my integrity and your ability to trust me. And I think I might have damaged that trust with this one person. And, maybe not. Maybe I'm just, imagining things. But like I said, I just, just trying to, keep everybody tight. So I'm a guy that'll put a coin on layaway. That's funny. I got to find the LCS that'll do that. Oh, goodness. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, I've learned a ton from from my fellow YouTubers. I mean, I was the guy just starting out, and didn't know which direction to go, and what to do when I got there. But here, let me put this up a little bit, because I intended for all those, my little choir there to be in view, and half of them were half out. Yeah, it's just a respect thing. So, let's see who's leaving. I'm still here. Well, he said something about eating some walleye, but said something about eating some walleye and having to tend to the kids. I get it. Yeah. Just been watching. You're great, brother. Thanks, Stacker man. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm not a know it all about any of this stuff. I'm still learning, and you know, let's see. That was you. I heard that. Take a piece of silver and post it at the racetrack, please. You know what? Just for you, I will do that. You know what? Cranky, I will do that just for you. Please, I must have missed something before I came in. You're good, man. Miss you. It's all subtle. Whatever it is. Oh, I know. You know what? Now, see, now you're going to have me. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to be trying to figure out where to take the picture so you actually see something more than just a piece of silver. And you know what? I think I'm going to. You know what, Cranky? I'm going to take this one with me. Okay? I'm going to take this one with me because, it's Michigan. And, somewhere in there is MIS. So yeah, I'll take that one with me next weekend, and because it's not this weekend. It's going to be a week from Saturday and a week from Sunday. Hey, Southeast. A week from Saturday and a week from Sunday we'll be over there. So you know what I might do? See, this is why, and I tell them all the time that, this is why people love Cranky. Okay. I know, nobody likes a cranky person. No, Cranky is the man. Okay. So, giving me ideas of things to do. Oh, man. So, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to do this one on Saturday. Okay. And then I'm going to do this one for the Cup race on Sunday. Because we got, Xfinity race on Saturday, Cup race on Sunday. So there you go, Cranky. I will make community posts because, like I said, if I try to talk and do a video while you got, 40 cars now on the track at one time before they start wrecking, if I try to do a video and talk to you while 40 cars are going at 200 miles an hour, you're not going to hear me. So what I will do is I will take pictures and I will post a community on a community post and I tag you in those. Now I just got to find somewhere that I can do it where it'll be obvious where I'm at in the background. So, but we'll figure it out. I'm going to do that just for you, Cranky. So, let me stay on the phone with you. Yes, I'm calling you back. So, and you know what? Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Here, we're going to put those together, and I'm going to take a poker chip with me too. So we'll put them all together. All right. So, yeah, and like we were talking at the beginning, we were talking for a minute about the copper stuff. I'm gonna, I'm seriously thinking about repurposing, some of this stuff. Maybe donating it to somebody that does pours, so that they can, do the fundraiser thing. So I've got a whole bunch in there. Already got them sealed up. And, these two. But like I said, there's certain ones I'm going to keep. And I've got my reasons. It's not stacking, but, And let's see here. Never been to a race. You know what? I get a lot of people that joke around and are talking about, oh, yeah, redneck hillbilly. Hey, guess what? Left turn. Hey, guess what? They're making another left turn. And then I kind of goof them up, and I say, well, you do know they run road courses, so they do road courses during the course of the year, so they do make right turns every once in a while. MIS is a cool track. The popularity went down, so things have changed out there. There's not as much going on race weekend. my son and I were talking about it. We got a friend that just moved out to Arizona, so we're already talking about, one of these years we got to go out to Phoenix, for the spring race at Phoenix before it gets ungodly hot out there. And our friend that just moved out there, he he put the bug in my son's ear at his going away party. He leans over and tells my son, he goes, "Hey, you know, I've ever been to was that." I grew up going to MIS. I mean, that was like since back in the days where if you said any other race car driver's name but Richard Petty in our house, you would get disowned. When it was just the center grandstands, not what they've got now. Uh, but yeah, they what it, um oh we we were talking about, he leans over and whispers in my son's ear. He goes, I'm only 20 minutes from the track, right? Yeah, it kind of ticked me off too, Southeast. I mean, it's not, because if people actually did their history, read their history books and, uh, you know, did a little research, um, they, uh, they would know that that's not modern days. The modern movements in our country are what made that flag quote unquote racist. Uh, yeah, I mean you've got, and hey Missy, how are you tonight? Asset Stacker, I am doing great. Welcome in, welcome in. Um, that's why I know Southeast, when you mentioned about your sticker, and the comment you made about it. I totally understand. I mean, you've got TV networks, these retro TV networks that show all the old TV shows, and all the ones that refuse to show the Dukes of Hazzard because there's a flag on the roof of the car. Um, but you can drive around places like, and this is several years ago. You can drive through Detroit, and we're talking like fast food restaurants and businesses that are flying everything but an American flag in front of their but that's okay. Um, that and Southeast, please correct me if I'm wrong. That flag was actually a flag for a unit in the U.S. Army back pre-Civil War times. I mean, Southeast, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it was something to do with that. Just like the people that, scream bloody murder over the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. That was our country's flag before what is the American flag now. Um, but no, and now they're talking about going to electric cars. Anybody ever seen one of those Formula E races? Just, um, and Formula E is like the electric car version of Formula One, and it sounds like they're driving turbocharged lawnmowers around the track, and um. Well, you know what, Liberty Blades. Because I know Vegas. You're out in Vegas, right? Or in the Vegas area? Because I know I priced tickets out there for the race in Vegas. Because at one point that was supposed to be the championship weekend. It was Vegas, and they were crazy. Um, uh, but they were. Um, we were actually talking about it. There was a Confederate military bag, which is a version of the Scottish flag design. Yeah. Um, they we knew what you meant. Autocorrect was the worst thing ever invented. It's, um, no, we talked about possibly going out to Phoenix for a race, and then oh gosh, a few weeks ago, and this is the thing. It kind of cracks me up to watch the race on TV when they run a road course in downtown Chicago. I want to see that in person. And I'm not one that goes. You get a lot of people that'll spend the money and go to the track just to watch the wrecks. me, I'm not a big fan of the wrecks because I've seen the damage those wrecks can do to the guys driving the cars. But just Chicago. I mean, just it looks fun watching it on TV. I'd love to go down in one year in person. And then of course, then there's none other than and they can talk about all the great tracks in NASCAR, but doggone it, I need to get back down to Talladega. It's been, oh gosh, let's see, before my son was born, and he's about to hit beer drinking age. Um, uh, yeah, Talladega was long time ago. But yeah, I need to get back down there again. Uh, you might rub into T, the Silver Stacker, or Tim in Chicago. You know what? You never know. Yeah. Last year they did a trail race and they sucked up a bunch of manhole covers on the street and ruined some cars. Oh, in Chicago? Had to go and weld them all down. How do you forget that these things are like driving, right? Oh, and you know what? You just took me back. There was a movie that came out several years ago, and I can't remember the name of it. It was a racing related movie. No, it wasn't Days of Thunder because it was open wheel cars, and Stallone was the washed up old man race car driver, and Burt Reynolds was the car owner, and watching them, and they filmed quite a bit of that at one of our, well, it was a city park forever, and now the state leased the park for 37 years at $1 a year, so now it's considered a state park. But Belle Isle, they ran the Indy races there for years. They're the Detroit Grand Prix. Now they're running it downtown Detroit again. But they filmed a whole bunch of that in downtown Detroit and on Belle Isle. And it was kind of comical watching this guy going 200 miles an hour down Jefferson Avenue in downtown Detroit. It's the main east-west drag through downtown Detroit. And you hear fling, and that manhole cover took off like somebody, flipping a penny. So yeah, they kind of forget to do that, and that does not usually end well for them. But no, I think the last couple of years they've remembered to do it down there in Chicago because there was no manhole covers flying up, but a lot of guys that forgot how to turn left and right. End up going into the wall at 70, 80 miles an hour, which I'm not a big fan of the wrecks. I was a huge Earnhardt fan, and that whole thing in 2001 at Daytona was just heartbreaking for those of us that love the sport. So, but yeah, I'm we're making our list and checking it twice. One of these years we're gonna get down to Daytona for the 500, and my son's mentioned several times he wants to hit Charlotte for the 600 Memorial Day weekend. That's a cool race when they do the 600. But I've only just realized the similarity between the Sam and Sears Cross. I wonder. Oh, Southeast, I know. We had some scary moments there with a couple of our drivers back in the day, and one of them was actually at Talladega. I've always been, I was always an Earnhardt fan. Even when nobody liked him, I liked him because he just didn't care. But I've kind of, over the years, I've been kind of, stuck to the Roush drivers, which then became Roush Fenway, which is now, holy cow, Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. How many times can you say that real fast? But Talladega, the one year when Brad was running the Mikosuke casino car, which I think was the 09, and Carl Edwards was driving for Roush, and they're on the last lap coming to the finish line there on the last lap, they got together and Carl ended up riding the fence down what was left of the front stretch. And, that was kind of scary. And then we had the one where Ryan Newman almost bought the farm at Daytona. That's some scary stuff. And I was actually at Daytona the year, and it's, us older race fans will probably remember this. It was like the first Craftsman Truck Series race at Daytona when Jeff Bodine went down the front stretch fence. And when he came to rest, all that was left was the roll cage and him sitting in the seat holding the steering wheel. Everything, the entire rest of the truck disintegrated, and we thought we lost him that day. The wrecks, the people that go for the wrecks, just for the wrecks, those are the ones that I've got no use for. But yeah, it's, they stole one of our races too. They gave it to Nashville. We always used to be at the racetrack on Father's Day weekend. All the cards would say Happy Father's Day on it, and the drivers would run, because if you look at the cars, you got the driver's name over the door. Let me tell you, Southeast, you ever been in the infield at MIS? Oh, man, some of that stuff should be illegal. Or put a sign up as you're walking into the infield, viewer discretion is advised. They party a little too hard in the infield at Michigan. Father's Day, we'd be at MIS, all the drivers, over the driver's side door, where, the driver's name usually is, they would have dad's name on there. And then, the sponsors would say, hey, shrink up our logo so you put Happy Father's Day across the hood. And that was what a lot of dads and their kids did. They were at the track for Father's Day. They didn't want to barbecue and all this other stuff. They just wanted to go watch stuff go fast and make noise. And then, we always had the August race, which they referred to as the fall race, because literally, okay, you're at the track on Sunday, and 2 weeks from now, the kids are back in school. So that was our fall race. But, they took June and gave it to Nashville, so we only get one a year. We don't see the trucks anymore. Craftsman Truck Series used to come every July. We don't see them at all anymore. Xfinity comes in August. We used to get an ARCA race. And we used to get an ARCA race, an IROC race, and a Cup race in June. And then IROC went away. And all we have here is 81 Speedway, a bunch of farmers racing junk cars, renters. Yeah, but you know what? If I remember right, 81 Speedway, I think Ken Schrader owns that. Schrader, a lot of people talk smack about Ken Schrader, but that guy is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to anything motorsports related. He's the kind of guy I'd love to sit down and, have a beer and, IROC was great because they used to bring in everybody from everywhere. You had, IndyCar. Well, here I'm gonna age myself again. Kart, IndyCar, World of Outlaws, Truck, Cup, Busch, and I can't remember what else. I don't remember if they had any F1 drivers in there or not. But yeah, IROC, oh man. But no, 81 Speedway, that, if I remember right, I think Schrader owns that. I may be wrong. I know there's one out that way that he owns. And there's nothing wrong with dirt track racing. That's where a lot of the guys you see on TV commercials and in the Cup cars nowadays, that's where they got their start, is running laps with all those old farmers. And if you go back in history, NASCAR started as a sanctioned racing series. It was a bunch of moonshiners that were experts at outrunning the law. And there was actually a movie that they did. It was an IMAX movie, but, if you look around hard enough, you can find it. It's an expensive hobby to see and follow. Yeah, it is. Is Indy expensive to attend? Not really. in Indy is or whatever they're calling it now. There's some other name that they're calling it now. Get to see lots of old friends there at Liberty. Um, IndyCar is it. I want to say I haven't priced tickets in a while. We have the Grand Detroit Grand Prix here in Metro Detroit every year. And I haven't priced those in a while because it seems like I can never get the time off to go. I'd love to go down there because my grandfather actually took me to the very first Detroit Grand Prix that was in downtown Detroit, and that was in the early '80s, and it was F1 cars. I talk about even with earplugs in or earmuffs on, not being able to hear for 3 days after, because that's a whole different sound dimension in downtown Detroit when you got those cars screaming up and down the roads. But no, Indy's not that expensive. Um, it's open wheel. A lot of people consider. A lot of people could consider the if you want to use the slang term bougie because it's open wheel. I always say open wheel that and I'm part redneck hillbilly. I want stock cars. Until I went to my first Indy race. You know, I well, I mean, I remember going to the Detroit Grand Prix as a kid, but it didn't really sink in. It's just like, oh wow, this is, yeah, they were loud too. Ooh man, um, because if you've ever been in downtown Detroit, literally every building, especially back then, some have been demolished and other things have been built in their place. Every building is a skyscraper in downtown, and they're like right next to each other. And the cars have been gone for 2 minutes, and you're still getting bouncing off the buildings. So but now IndyCar, I call IndyCar the blue collar open wheel racing. So it's not that bad. And then even like for this race weekend, yeah, the ticket prices have gone up, but they also do a lot to get people in. Like last year, my son bought me tickets for Father's Day for the Cup race. And not only was it a Father's Day present, but it was also, it was first responder appreciation from NASCAR. And you bought the special tickets, and the first responder, got recognized, and there was a little gift for him and all that. And, it was good stuff. So, all right, you know what? We are at, holy cow, we're at 74 minutes. All right, you know what? I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. And we have a great ice rink too. Oh, we've got some good rinks around here. I'm not a big fan of Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. I just the way they built the building. If you can only afford the cheap seats, you better have really good balance and really good equilibrium, or else you'll go, rear end over tea kettle because it's very steeper the higher up you go. I'm more of a fan of Huntington Center down in Toledo here, or we've actually got an area in downtown Detroit now that I call it our baby Times Square, or baby Rockefeller Plaza. Where you see they do the big Christmas thing at Rockefeller Center every Christmas on NBC, and they got their ice rink and all that, kind of like the mini version of ours. When I looked up the price for the F1 race coming to Vegas, I thought that sounded like a lot of money, so I asked the internet, where's the cheapest place to buy F1 tickets? Can anyone guess? Good night. You know what? I'm itching to know. I'm itching to know now. So where's the cheapest place to buy F1 tickets? Let me guess. Somewhere overseas. Singapore. China. Yeah. You know what? Oh. That's why I stick to my stock car racing. But all right, everybody, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Everybody, have a great rest of your night. Great rest of your week. We'll see you on the channel, everybody. Mishy's out.